everyone, I'm Ari Meghlen here with Rachel Poley, and we're your hosts for the Merry Writer podcast. We are on episode 139, and this week's question is, what are some good gifts for writers? You can tell Christmas is coming up. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast wherever you're listening so you never miss a show. And if you enjoy our episode, please do give it a like, write a review, and share it with friends. It really does help. Okay, so yeah, we're talking gifts because, as I said, Christmas is coming up. We all like gifts. And if you have a writer in your life, you want to treat them to something, or if you are a writer and you want to make a little list for other people, here are some of our thoughts that would be good gifts. The first one I'm going to go with is writing courses. Now, there are some really great writing courses online, especially ones that are more specific, such as marketing courses or writing certain genres. It's always a good idea, obviously, to check with the writer that it's something they would use and find one that they may have mentioned and can't afford themselves. The last thing you want to do is pick a random one that either maybe they've done or doesn't work for them. Be aware of paying for a very basic course. If they are past the beginner writing stage, I don't think they'll get much from it. I know we all like surprises. Actually, I hate surprises. I'm not a surprise person. It just sets my anxiety off. But sometimes it is better to let them know what you want to give them so that they can then pick the one they want. And obviously, for all the writers listening to this, if you have courses that you'd really like to do, maybe consider putting them on a little Christmas list for people. I say this realizing that not everyone does that. In my family, we do make Christmas lists of lots of different items, and then they go around the family, and then people can pick and choose whatever they want from the list. It's actually quite a large faff because you have to then talk with everybody else to find out what everyone else is buying that person. But in the end, it does help you get something you're more likely to want than some random surprise. So yeah, if you are a writer and there are some writing courses you've really been interested in, consider putting one of them on your Christmas list, maybe dropping some hints. But yeah, and obviously it doesn't have to be writing courses. It could be marketing courses, it could be social media courses, it could be public speaking courses if you wanted to get into book signings or doing events or workshops or anything like that. So yeah, that's my first one because I think that would be a very good gift to give a writer.
Agree. I think that would be a lovely gift to give to a writer. And I also know that some writing courses can be a bit on the pricey side. So if you know a writer who really, really wants to take a certain course, then you can give them, I mean, some courses they have, like, depending on the website and stuff, you can actually get gift cards and stuff. So you can give them maybe like half of the money that would go towards the course, or you can find a friend to chip in with you and you can do that. But there are places like, like Skillshare is a really good website where people can just take a bunch of courses on anything. Doesn't necessarily have to be writing or marketing or anything. It can just be website design or whatever your writer is currently trying to do to boost their career. And you can give them a year-long membership to Skillshare or Udemy or Teachable or any one of those websites. And I know like Masterclass is supposed to really be a good one. I've never used Masterclass. Ari's giving me a thumbs up, but so I'm assuming that she condones it. But I have heard that Masterclass is good, and I can't remember how much it is, but that's like me personally. I've always wanted to take a couple of courses from them, so that's definitely a good idea. And you can also, I'm going to add, you can also get them a ticket to a writing conference if it's in town, and if it's like within your budget, you can get them a ticket, maybe 2 tickets, because maybe you can tag along with them and see things from their point of view and just have a nice day out together, go to dinner, go to a writing conference, make a day out of it. So I do agree with Ari on all of that stuff. That would be a really, really nice gift. But I'll go into my idea, jumping from writing courses and conferences. You can get fun book and writing decor for their office, like bookends or a reading lamp. I gotta say, I got this for Christmas a couple of years ago, and I have a portable LED lamp, and like, you guys can't see, I'm showing Ari, but it collapses so that you can adjust where the light is, and it's a touchscreen with like 3 different brightness settings on it. And it's great because in my room, the light overhead doesn't reach my bed. So I like having that on my bed. I even have it on my desk. Sometimes I carry it back and forth between my desk to give me a little extra light for my laptop, but then also I like to have it on my bed shelf so that when I read in bed, I have ample lighting, and it's just like the coolest thing. So it's little things like that, reading lamps, or even just bookends. Or I have bookshelves hung on the wall. They're supposed to be floating bookshelves, like you tuck the back end cover of the book in it to make it look like the books are floating on the wall. So if your writer friend is into that, then yeah, by all means, go for it.
I love quirky decor and bookends and things like that, because it just adds a little bit of flair to your room. And I have to say, I did see one. I haven't got it. I really want it. And it was like a quirky writer clock. And instead of numbers, it had things like write, coffee, edit, review, start over, drink heavily, cry on each hour. And I thought, I really need that clock in my life. Yeah, I mean, obviously, we were talking about this recently. It's like decor is a little personal. So the one thing you want to do is make sure that it sort of fits with their personality and things. But yeah, throwing in some decor, especially funky, quirky, silly, fun things, definitely. I don't know any writer, and I'm sure there are them out there, but I don't know any writer who wouldn't like silly things like that kind of acknowledges, oh, look, they're a writer. Because again, writing is quite a solitary thing, and we don't often talk about it as much as we should. And obviously, if you heard our episode recently where we had a guest on who was talking about that, it is important to talk about it. And if a writer talks to you about their writing, it really does mean that they, especially if they're a new writer, they really do trust you. They're talking about something that's so important to them. So supporting them and showing that you are interested in their writing life by getting them courses or fun decor, definitely 100% concur with this. I'm going to be going through and looking for quirky things putting on my Christmas list.
It's funny how you're mentioning our episode with Chris talking about discussing your writing and how they trust you if they're talking about your writing. I was just going to say, in addition to the clock, so that they can keep track of the time, that does sound like a really cool clock, but you could also find, there are these hilarious do not disturb signs on Amazon. You can certainly get them one of those that they can put up on their office door, and some of them just simply say do not disturb. Some of them are like an open and close sign, so you can be like, the writer is in, the writer is out, whatever. But there are so many different kinds, and some of them have like sarcastic sayings on them. I can't think of any at the top of my head, but that's another option too. If you know somebody that's writing and they're working from home, but they get interrupted a lot, just buy them that sign and be like, here you go. I think they'd appreciate it.
Well, that's it. Didn't we talk about one of the other episodes where we said about how, I can't even remember, it was something about you need to tell people you're writing to stop the distractions. Hopefully yes. We stop them from knocking on the door and everything. And we said put a sign up. Yeah, who needs to go make your own sign? Go get a quirky, silly, funny one that tells them, they might end up in your book as a murder victim if you knock on the door. So yeah, definitely. I'd much rather do that and just pay for one than take any time and start making my own.
But also, if it has sarcastic sayings on it and stuff, you could just be like, oh, isn't this sign so silly? I totally don't mean any of that stuff. You just play it off.
I gotta admit, I do love the quirky decor. As if I don't have enough quirky things in my room just taking up all the space. To be fair, if I didn't have quirky ornaments and everything, I'd have paperwork everywhere. More.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you need something to get yourself through the day,
And speaking of that, let's move on to the next one. And you knew it was going to happen. Stationery. It's the bread and butter of the writer. If the writer in your life is big on stationery, and who isn't? I want to meet someone who is not big on stationery, because I wouldn't trust them. I would assume they're a pod person. It's one of those things innate in human history that we should all be obsessed with stationery. But to be honest, it's useful. It is useful. Like, I can go through colored pens and sticky notes at an alarming rate, and I have multiples of each, and I still end up needing to get more. And I really do appreciate things like that, or even reams of cheap paper, because, and I appreciate, as someone who's quite environmental, this isn't the best part about me, I do print my manuscripts out when I do a manual edit. I try and do them double-sided where I can, and I try and, like, it's all draft print, trying to justify myself killing trees. But that's why it's like I use cheap paper or scrap paper. But you can go through a lot for making notes and printing out your work and everything. And it's one of those things that it's a cost. It's like notebooks or pens, it's all a cost. and taking some of that cost away by treating the writer in your life to some pretty notebooks, some really cool pens, or if it's just like me, reams of paper where they can print things out and scribble all over them, or a shredder for when they're having to shred their old copies of things, in case somebody gets their hands on them. So yeah, stationery is a good idea, and it doesn't have to be something elaborate. It doesn't have to be like the fanciest pens or the most expensive paper or really like decorative notebooks. No, it doesn't. I mean, you might want to double check how many notebooks they have, because even I'm getting to the point where I'm trying to start saying no to notebooks, because I was shocked how many notebooks I had. When I opened the cupboard I was putting the notebooks into, and they wouldn't fit by a lot, and it was a big cupboard. So yeah.
I've actually had issues with that too. Like, I have too many notebooks, and even the sticky notes. I think I said this in a previous episode a little while ago, but I am currently on a sticky note buying ban. You hear people giving themselves book buying bans, but no, I'm a sticky note buying ban because I have so many, and I use them. Don't get me wrong, I use them every single day, but that's how many I have. Like, I can't keep up with using them, and I just keep buying more because they come in different sizes and different shapes and different colors, and they're a lot of fun, and I use them for a lot of things. And I also don't like wasting paper. So if I have like the whatever size, like the regular sizes, the regular square, if I just need to write a quick little note and I don't have any little ones on hand, I cut it in half. So it just ends up doubling the amount when I already have so much anyway. And it's a mess. It's a mess. But seriously, if anybody gifted me sticky notes, I wouldn't decline them. I'd be very happy. I'd be a happy clam. Same thing with colored pens. And paper, printer paper. I do the same thing. I print out my manuscript, and my book was over 500 pages long because I can't seem to shut up when I write. So when I printed out the whole thing, I felt awful. I was double-siding the paper and everything. And I was like, I'm killing so many trees. I feel awful. But I went through like half a pack of paper. And as you said, the costs, they add up. They add up so much. In ink, forget the ink. I mean, that's a whole nother issue. But now I'm starting to rant. So keep going, Ari. Take it away.
That's a good point though. Ink is very expensive.
Yeah.
So, again, if you find out what their printer is and get them some ink cartridges, or even the refilled ones that are a little bit cheaper and everything.
Yep.
But I actually have a few extra things I'm just thinking of while Rachel was speaking. Index cards. I know a lot of writers use index cards for their plotting, or if you want to be very fancy, get them a whiteboard.
Yes.
That way they're not killing as many trees with notes, because they can scribble everything on a whiteboard and wipe it out. And the other one that I've heard other writers talk about is waterproof notes. And there's something called the Aqua Notes, and it's waterproof. So you take it into the shower, and if you're an ideas person, when you get them in the shower, you can scribble it down. I don't have anything like that in the shower. What I usually do is end up screaming through the door to my partner going, "Can you write down?" And then just blurring out random words, and he has to make those notes. And I have to hope that by the time I finished my shower and got out and looked at those notes, that they make sense, because it's literally like a one-word thing as a trigger to remind me. So as I'm saying this, I feel like I need to treat myself to the Aqua Note so I can write it down.
You should. I have Aqua Notes, and it works. It works really well. And I'm shocked because it comes with a pencil. I didn't know you could make pencils waterproof, but it works really well. It comes with suction cups, so you just stick it on the wall of your shower. And the paper feels kind of weird because it's waterproof, and it's kind of hard to tear it off, but it works, and it's certainly worth it. I've used it a bunch of times. I've also used it where my sister and I, when we take our showers, we'll write notes to each other so that the other person will see it, because we're ridiculous. But it works, and I think it's pretty cheap too. I think it's like $10 on Amazon. Don't quote me on that. That could be different. But when I got it, I think it was about $10. And the funny thing is, we ordered one and there was a mistake, and they actually sent us two. So I got one for free too. But they work really well. So definitely next time you got to make a purchase on Amazon, look up the Aqua Notes and just get it. Just do it, because it works. But also, the final thing that I want to say is get your favorite writer a gift card to their favorite bookstore. Or we were just talking about how expensive ink is. get them a gift card to Staples or wherever your stationery store is, so that they can buy their own ink and their own paper, and they can go nuts buying notebooks and sticky notes and things like that. Gift card, I feel like people give gift cards a lot of, I don't know, I feel like people feel bad giving out gift cards because it's not personable, but people really like getting gift cards so that they can just get what they want, and they feel like they're spending no money at all because it's not their money, and they can just get what they want, as I said. So, I mean, if anybody ever gives me a gift card to Barnes and Noble, I tend to hoard them. Like then I just see how much money I can collect for that one store. And then I go to the store one day with like $100 worth of gift cards and I go nuts. And it's like, seriously, the best thing. It's the best feeling in the world because I'm not spending my own money. So certainly if you're out of ideas, even though we just gave you a bunch, just a simple gift card will do. And I promise you, your writer friend will probably be more than happy with that.
I have to admit, when I was younger, I used to like sneer at gift cards because it's like, why give a gift card? Why take perfectly good money that you can use anywhere and limit what you can spend it on into one shop? But as you get older and you have more responsibility and more things to pay, you realize that if someone gave you like $20 and went, treat yourself, if you don't go out and treat yourself fast, that $20 will end up being, well, I better just top up the petrol, or, oh, I need to get bread and milk. I'll just use that $20 and get that. And then it sounds like this, oh, petrol. I was like, God, petrol will take all that 20 instantly. But you end up using it on other things. Or if somebody then needs some money and you're like, oh, well, I've got a 20. Do you want to borrow that? And suddenly you don't have anything anymore. Whereas a gift card stops that. It forces you to spend more on yourself. Because if someone gave you a £20 note or a £20 gift card to a bookstore, there's a possibility that £20 note will get spent at the bookstore. But if you don't make it to the bookstore, it's probably going to get eaten up by something else. That £20 gift card can only be used at the bookstore. So you're going to then force yourself to go out to the bookstore, but you're going to make sure you get to the bookstore to get it used and to treat yourself. So yeah, I was one of those sneery people that was like, oh, what is the point? Just give me the cash. Until it got to the point where that cash would have just been spent on boring things like groceries and phone bills and things like that, stamps. And now I get to treat myself. I will get, a Waterstones gift card and then go into Waterstones and spend it all, and probably a bit more as well on my credit card.
Well, yeah. Oh, exactly. That's the hard part, is going over the gift cards. But I agree entirely. Like when I get cash for my birthday and stuff from, the aunts and the uncles and stuff, I always just tuck it away in a drawer for emergency money, or it goes in the bank and I don't spend it on anything. But obviously if you get a gift card, yeah, you're kind of forced to use it on whatever it is. And I think the gesture of gift cards is very nice because it's them saying, here, go treat yourself. It's like getting a gift card to the spa or to get a massage. It's like, I am forcing you to relax. Like, this is what I want for you. You need to take a step back, take a breather, and relax. You know what? Yeah, get your writer friend a gift card to go get a massage. They probably need that too.
Yes, the introverted writer doing really well trying to go to a massage.
I know. I am. Please don't ever get me a gift card to go get a massage. No, I would be so uncomfortable getting a massage.
I don't know, it's one of those things, it seems like a really good idea because you think, oh, I could get rid of all the tension in my shoulders, but at the same time it's like, I don't want to see someone and I don't want them touching me.
Yes, exactly. Especially with my back turned to them. No, thank you. Absolutely not. I get pedicures. I like pedicures.
But no, I mean, I have to admit, recently, I said last Christmas and my partner's birthday at the beginning of the year, I had family members going, what does he want? What does he want? And normally I'm like, I don't know. Could have got him something specific that he probably wouldn't have used, or something he didn't need. But I actually remembered and went, cinema gift card. And we ended up with like 4 cinema gift cards. And we still haven't used them all. We went recently and a couple of days for that. And we have the reclining sofa seats, huge seats that recline, and they're very expensive, but we didn't pay gift card. And I've still got some gift cards left. So yeah, there's so many things. And you can even get gift cards that are done in like several shops. But again, you got to be careful, because if it's on too many shops, or if it covers like supermarkets, you can end up using it to buy somebody else groceries. So yeah, try and limit it to something intense like a bookstore, a stationery store, a game store or something. But yeah.
Right, yeah.
Okay, that's it. I mean, obviously, there's a million other things you can get for your writer, and every writer is different. But those are a few things that we thought we would share. Yeah, so hopefully that's been helpful. However, before we turn it over to you guys, Rachel and I wanted to let you know that we have opened up the guest applications for 2023. This is what we do. We like to open guest slots early and then start booking people in. So if you are a writer, or if you work in the writing industry, maybe you're a cover designer, an editor, or a publicist, and you want to possibly be on our podcast, you can head over to our FAQ page over on Podbean. The link will be in the description below, obviously, unless you're on Podbean and you're listening to this. Please read through the FAQs fully. And then if you think you'd be a good fit, then you can fill out our Google form, which is linked to the page. And in the meantime, do let us know your thoughts on what gifts you would love to receive as a writer. We'd love to chat about it, so tell us your answers in the comments below. And if you want more of the Merry Writer podcast, then be sure to follow us on Podbean, YouTube, or wherever you're listening. And for as little as $1 a month, you can join us over on Patreon at patreon.com/the Merry Writer podcast for bonus content. It helps to keep the show going, so we really do appreciate the support. Finally, be sure to tune in every Wednesday for a new episode of the Merry Writer podcast, where we ask all the right questions. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.
This podcast is brought to you by Stuffed Bookshelves. Our TBR piles are huge. The music, titled Inspired, is by Kevin MacLeod, licensed under Creative Commons 4.0.